Hi everyone, welcome to this house. Today we are exploring Leonis Adobe, a historic adobe in Calabasas, California that is said to be haunted by the ghost of Miguel Leonis. The story of this house is one that has been passed down through generations of those who have lived here, some claiming to have experienced strange and unexplainable phenomena that they believe is the work of Mr. Leonis himself. But what makes this house so special? What secrets does it hold, and what is the story behind the ghost that is said to haunt it? That's what we're going to find out today. So stay tuned. Alright, before we begin, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps the channel. Now let's get into this episode. Alright, so Leonis Adobe is a historic building located in the Santa Monica Mountains in Calabasas, California. It was built in 1799 by a Spanish soldier named Miguel Leonis, who was stationed at nearby Mission San Fernando Rey de Espaga. The adobes were constructed of mud and stone and served as the primary residence for the soldiers assigned to the mission. They were part of a chain of 21 missions established by the Spanish colonial government in Alta, California in the late 18th century. These missions were designed to convert the native population to Christianity and bring them under the control of the Spanish Empire. Each mission had its own self-sustaining community with housing for the soldiers, living quarters for the native converts, and facilities for agriculture, industry, and religious services. The original Leonis Adobe consisted of two buildings connected by an interior courtyard. One building contained the main living quarters, while the other housed the kitchen and storage areas. In addition to these structures, there was also a well, a garden, and several outbuildings on the property. The Leonis family lived in the adobe for many years, raising a large family and playing an active role in the local community. However, in 1827, Miguel Leonis was ordered by the Mexican government to leave the mission, and the property was converted into a private ranch. Throughout its history, the Leonis Adobe has changed hands many times, but it has remained largely intact. Today, it is recognized as a historic landmark and is open to the public for tours. Alright, so now that we know a little bit about the history of the home, let's talk about the ghost. Legend has it that the ghost of Miguel Leonis still haunts his former home. According to local lore, Leonis Adobe is one of the most haunted places in Southern California. The current owner of the property, Phyllis Lawrence, says she's heard footsteps, smelled the scent of lavender soap, and seen objects move on their own. She believes that the ghost of Miguel Leonis is responsible for these strange occurrences. In 2012, Lawrence allowed paranormal investigators from the Ghost Adventures crew to use her home for one of their investigations. During their investigation, they captured what they believed to be the ghost of Miguel Leonis on camera. In the video, a dark figure can be seen walking through the house and interacting with the investigators. This footage was later featured on the show's episode, California's Most Haunted. There are also other stories of people who have experienced strange things at the Leonis Adobe. One visitor claimed to have seen the ghost of a woman in a long white dress walking along the property. Another person said they saw a man in a horse-drawn carriage approaching the house, but when they got closer, they realized that there was no driver. Some believe that the ghost of Miguel Leonis may have saved one of the home's previous owners from danger. According to local legend, a man named Eddie Lawrence was taking a nap in the house when he was suddenly awakened by a strong shaking. He went outside to investigate and found that a large boulder had fallen from the hill above the house, narrowly missing his bedroom. Lawrence believed that the ghost of Miguel Leonis had pushed him awake in order to save his life. The stories surrounding the ghost of Miguel Leonis have contributed to the mystique of the Leonis Adobe and have made it a popular destination for paranormal enthusiasts. Many people who visit the property report feeling a sense of unease or sadness, believing that they are being watched or followed. Alright, now let's get into my thoughts. As I mentioned earlier, I was a bit skeptical about the paranormal activity that was said to have occurred at the Leonis Adobe. However, After doing some research and hearing the various stories from people who have experienced strange things here, I am not so sure. The fact that multiple people have seen the same ghost of a man in a carriage is intriguing, as is the story of how he may have saved one of the homeowners from being crushed by a boulder. It seems unlikely that these stories would be fabricated, and I tend to believe that there is some truth to them. As for why the ghost of Miguel Leonis would appear only to save certain people, I can only speculate. Perhaps he feels a connection to the current owner and wants to protect her and her family. Or maybe he simply feels drawn to the property and wants to ensure its preservation. Whatever the reason, I find it fascinating that the ghost of Miguel Leonis has been seen so many times by so many different people. If you've ever visited the Leonis Adobe or have any information about the ghost of Miguel Leonis, please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this mysterious case. And if you're interested in learning more about other alleged haunted locations, be sure to stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching. Alright, now, let's get into the comments. This is from a user. This sounds like a scary place. I'm from Ireland originally, where a lot of the old houses are built from stone. There are always strange sounds and creaks and groans from the walls and floors. You learn to tune it out after a while. But when I've stayed in hotels built from concrete and glass, I notice that silence more. Sound travels differently through the materials and you hear every creak of the floorboard and every other guest moving around. Maybe the new occupants of the house just haven't gotten used to the sounds yet and are misattributing them to ghosts. That's a very interesting theory. I had not thought of that before, but it makes perfect sense. When you live in a home that's surrounded by nature, there's bound to be all sorts of noises that occur naturally. Squealing birds, insects, wind, rain, thunder, just to name a few. Even the settling of a home can cause some rather unsettling sounds. So it is quite possible that the noises attributed to the ghost are nothing more than the sounds of nature or the natural world. However, there are many instances where unexplained phenomena have occurred in this home. For example, objects moving on their own, apparitions appearing and disappearing, and even disembodied voices. These experiences cannot be attributed to natural causes and do suggest that there is something more going on here. Whatever may be haunting this home, it is certainly not just the sound of crickets chirping. This is from another user. If you go on Google Maps, you can actually see the carriage tracks that lead to the front door from the road. I tried to research this further, but couldn't find anything definitive. If anyone has more information about this, please feel free to post it in the comments. Thanks for watching.